crank them out. You know what I mean? All right. Welcome back to Scratching the Surface. I'm your host, Kat. I'm a mindset coach and thought leader. Okay. And one thing about me is people think I'm a philosopher. I like to think about questions, morale, ethics, happiness, fulfillment, success, right? All these things are what really drives me because I believe if you're able to understand these topics and how they relate to you, you work better with people because you know your own motivations, right? And then as a leader, you can work with other people and meet them where they're at to lead them. So one of these topics is really happiness. This is a word that gets thrown out all over is like, are you happy? Be happy. Happiness is a choice, right? There's so many things and concepts around happiness. And we also know in this world, there's pain, there's suffering. The reality is a lot of people are struggling. So how do we balance this concept of happiness with the notion that this world isn't always conducive for happiness, okay? And there was a study by Robert Nozick who did a study with his class. Let's say, and he called it a pleasure machine. I'm calling it the happiness machine. There's a machine, okay? And you can plug in to this machine. And as long as you're plugged into this machine, you feel nothing but the maximum happiness, okay? Minimal pain. You really feel all the pleasure that life has to offer. Would you plug in? Wow, what a question. Hands start flying up. I would plug into that happiness machine. I got bills to pay. I'm going through this issue. I'm going through a divorce, whatever it is. I wasn't in the room. I like to kind of add my own 2 cents, right, of what people were probably thinking. Sign me up for that happiness machine. This life that I'm living is too painful, okay? Then he asked, okay, for those that didn't raise your hand, why would you not plug into this happiness machine? Okay. And a couple of themes came up in the room, but a big one was people want to feel the human experience. The human experience is hearing or seeing thunder and physically jolting. You're like, oh my gosh, that was powerful. It's feeling the rain. Okay, it's crying and feeling immense pain, but then also feeling a cathartic release after. It's heartbreak. It's relationships that don't go well. It's suffering, but it's also the balance of with that, you feel an immense gratitude when things do go right. The second reason was people want to feel the journey to get to the happy, successful moment. And I talk about this in my success episode, which is really those micro wins in your daily efforts, not the finish line, is what causes ultimate fulfillment. It's the journey. And people were like, well, if you're just plugging me into machine and I'm feeling pleasure all the time and happiness, but I didn't work for it, that's almost like just being drugged up all the time, right? And people were also worried about like, you can't plug back out or you're addicted, whatever it is, right? But mainly those concepts of they want to feel the human experience and they want to feel like they worked for the happiness. And when I got asked the same question, I didn't put my hand up because I'm all one for embracing the hard. Okay? People think that it's just like, get as much joy in life as you can and like really feel happy all the time. But in those hard life lessons, I talked about losing my mom, right, in a previous episode. That's where the transformation happened. That's where I was tasked to think differently, to serve my community. If I'm just receiving all the time happiness, at what point can I give? At what point can I serve? I want to be able to serve. And I think that was the third theme is that people wanted to feel an ability to help others and give, not just receive. Okay, so taking back your power and saying this happiness machine doesn't exist. And if it does, it's called drugs or other things, right? How do you find power in those moments of suffering and hardship and saying, this is actually a beautiful thing because I get to feel this so intently. And when things do go right, I know I worked for it, or I know what it's like to be down in the dumps and homeless. So when I finally make enough to move out, to get a car and live in it, or move out of that car and into the apartment, I know how good this feels. I worked for it. I figured out how to make it work and I did it, okay? And as leaders, I'm always thinking about how people operate. It's your job to understand that people are going through hardships and challenges. And maybe in those moments, they're not all optimistic, like, wow, there's a happiness machine and I didn't plug into it, so I'm going to embrace that I just had an awful traumatic experience. People are not in that journey yet where they're like fully embracing the hard. Everyone's in a different place. Help them if you can even see how powerful they are and exactly who they are. And take time to reflect with yourself. The next time you go into a hardship, what opportunities are there for you to level up and help people? Every time you serve, think, wow, this is an amazing opportunity that I have to get out there in the world, in the community, and impact everybody I meet. When you wake up in the morning, it's a choice to show up and be there. Despite wanting to just be plugged into that happiness machine, you get an opportunity to exist exactly as you are on this planet and walk down the street and feel every bit of, ow, my knees hurt. Who's with me? Okay. Ow, this hurts. Ow, that hurts. Well, this is a human experience and we're gonna make the most of exactly the cards we were dealt. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Scratching the Surface on Instagram and YouTube and scratchthecat.com. I think that was it, right?